So I think we might not be able to hear that, take up that agenda item today if only 2 people can vote on it.
Brendan, is it possibly the case that we just need a quorum to start the meeting, and that in order to approve an item, we just need a majority of voting members or members that voted on that particular item to approve it?
Yes, although
This one I'm very touchy about.
that's correct. But the board is 5 members, so if someone's abstaining, it's not like they're voting no. We only really have 2 people voting on that issue.
Okay.
I am.
Okay,
I would prefer.
As long as you're okay with it, I just wanted to make sure up front knowing that.
I would actually recommend.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the meeting, I'm going to call the meeting to order. The roll call, you can look on the screen there. First thing is the minutes of April 13th that were sent to you in advance. What is your pleasure?
So is this so do we need to approve the previous minutes? Is that what's
That's all I'm looking for now is a motion for the minutes of April 13th.
Okay.
So moved.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion, and can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second. Okay, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, program financial update. We're going to let you, okay.
Thank you.
One question before that. Before I know that we had administration approving some of the smaller grants, is that something you plan on going back to at some point in time?
We may go back to that at some point. I think at this stage, I'm really appreciating the feedback from the committee, so I'm bringing everything to the committee, but if that changes, I'll certainly let everyone know.
Okay, thank you.
So in terms of the status of funds, you each have received an updated status sheet in your packet, and you'll see that we're tracking all of the approved grants, which at this time total about $300,000. Down below, when you look at the fund balance, we started the year with $277,000. We had a new allocation of $125,000, which gives us a total funding for the year of $402,000. When we account for the approved grants of $298,000, that gives us a balance of about $100,000. $25,000 of that is presently earmarked for marketing. So that gives us a roughly $75,000 balance for Economic Development Fund grants. I'll be presenting to you grants with recommended funding totaling $30,000 today. So we are moving through this year's allocation, but I'm happy to report that there are discussions about the potential to possibly add some additional dollars into this fund so we can continue the good work that we're doing here. And I'll be keeping the committee updated as those discussions move along.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll take a motion to accept the program financial update.
I guess it's just me, right? So
I think this is going to be you and you.
Okay. All right.
There's a motion, and do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Yes. Oh,
All in favor, say aye. Okay, let's get down to,
aye.
okay. Our first one is Your Turn Special Events.
Yes, Your Turn Special Events LLC is owned by Sandusky resident Cazetta Poole. Ms. Poole's been a Sandusky resident for over 30 years. She also owns a home-based childcare business here in the city of Sandusky. She's looking to open her second business, which will be a special events venue on Buchanan Street. She has leased a space in a commercial building there, measuring about 1,100 square feet. She has identified a total project cost of $4,300, of which I'm proposing that we provide $2,000 in grant funding towards. Our funding will be targeted towards assisting her with leasehold improvements and also equipment that's needed to open her business. Ms. Poole is working very closely with our building department and is excited about getting this new venture opened to the public and available in the community. So again, I'm recommending a small business grant of $2,000 to Your Turn Special Events, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
I'll open. Abby, welcome. You just popped on, at least popped on my screen. How you doing today?
Yes, hi Al. Was running a little late today.
Okay. So you just heard the high level for Your Turn Special Events. All the data is there, and thank God it propagated on my iPad, because then I could push it out and actually read stuff. Anybody have any specific questions about this grant? Hearing no questions, I'll accept a motion to approve it.
So this is Jamarcus.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve. What's that?
I didn't say anything.
Second.
Okay, seconded.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a
I'll
second.
make a motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
They're just late. Yeah, I did. It took me forever to figure that one out one time. Okay. Next one, we're going to go to Port Sandusky Restaurant LLC.
Yes, for those of you that are not familiar, Port Sandusky is located at 325 West Market Street in a building that was constructed in the late 1800s. Port Sandusky is a local family-owned diner, and it did receive an Economic Development Fund grant of $7,500 back in 2016, primarily for interior equipment and furniture and fixtures. Today, they're seeking funding to assist them in some dining room and kitchen area repairs that are needed. Specifically, they'll be taking down an existing drop ceiling, replacing and repairing the plaster ceiling that's above that, and then installing a new drop ceiling. They estimate that their total project cost is $6,000, and I'm suggesting we provide a small business grant in the amount of $2,500 to assist them with this project.
Okay, you've heard the summation, and the full grant application was submitted to you electronically. Does anybody have any specific questions? Hearing no questions, I would take, go
On
ahead.
my end.
Was that a question or? I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut anybody off. Was that
Yeah,
a
no,
question?
no questions on my end, Alan.
Okay, so could I have a motion for Port Sandusky?
I move that we approve the recommendation for the grant.
Motion made, and I think, Marcus, you seconded it, or did you
I'll
make it?
second.
Okay, you seconded?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay. Body by Erica Taylor.
Yes, Body by Erica Taylor LLC is owned by Sandusky resident Erica Taylor. Ms. Taylor is also a Perkins High School graduate. I believe that she was referred to us by ECADEC, so we appreciate that connection. Ms. Taylor started Body by Erica Taylor in January of this year, and the company has quickly grown to the point where Ms. Taylor needs to move into a larger space. Fortunately, she was able to find that larger space in the building that she was previously located in. She has signed a lease for the larger space through Hody Enterprises and is in the process of moving into that space. The funding that she's requested from us would go towards the equipment and leasehold improvements that are needed at that location. There's a summary of the total project costs as well as backup documentation in your packet. She's got over $19,000 of equipment that she plans to purchase, as well as $4,000 of additional leasehold improvements throughout the building. I am suggesting that we provide a grant in the amount of $7,500 towards her project, but this should be conditioned on her providing evidence of private financing. I know she's applied for her financing and is waiting approval through the Economic Development Corporation of Cleveland. It's a nonprofit organization.
Financing you're talking about?
Yes, that's the bank financing in the amount of $15,000. So I do think we want to make sure that that is in place before we proceed with her. But once she does secure that financing, a city grant in the amount of $7,500 would greatly help her expand this business. I should say that her business focuses on non-surgical health remedies and health services for her patients, including body contouring, detoxification, teeth whitening, and other health remedies. So a service that has already been quickly received and positively received by the community, and I know she's excited to take the next step in growing her business and looks forward to our assistance.
Any questions about, I'll make sure I get that right, Body by Erica?
Hey, Jonathan. So, quick question: is Erica requesting $7,500? I couldn't remember. I know the total cost of the project is
Yeah, I believe.
$33,000. I couldn't remember what the actual dollar amount was in which he was requesting.
Yeah, she has requested $15,000 from the city, and I'm certainly open to input from the committee here, but my recommendation is for $7,500, and that's, she's aware that that is my recommendation, and that's really based on a number of factors, our, more limited funding this year, as well as a little bit closer review of her total project costs. And I think really my feeling in this case was that we really should try to focus our funding on the equipment. I know she's got some expenses in her total project costs like employee training, products, and advertising that we might want to consider to be more operating expenses and outside the scope. So I was trying to base it somewhat on the 40% of the somewhat physical aspects of her project, but again, I'm open to input from the committee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to decide how to ask for this motion, because obviously we want in the motion to say that it's contingent upon her giving evidence that she's got the $15,000 from bank financing. Now, is the bank financing going to ask to make sure that we've approved the money? So I'm trying to figure out how to ask for the motion. And my thoughts, unless somebody has any other thoughts, is that the motion would be to accept the project contingent upon proof of letter for the bank financing. And I think if we approve that, then she could use that then to show the bank that she's gotten that. cart before the horse or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because ultimately, if the bank financing is not available, then I guess the question would be where would the other source of funding come from to, move forward with the project? So I mean, I would agree. I think that would probably need to be contingent or some other alternate plan to fill that gap would probably need to be in place. Would be my thoughts on it.
Basically the same motion that I had recommended. I'm gonna put any words in anybody's mouth, just make sure that everybody isn't saying the same thing. So Marcus, if that's your motion, contingent on the bank financing?
So,
Can I have a second?
Yes, I will second that motion.
Okay. So we've got a motion made and seconded to approve based on proof of bank financing. So all in favor say aye. Opposed?
aye.
Okay. Motion approved. Okay. Dot investment. I declared it a conflict at that point on this one. So we've kind of got past that a little bit, I think, as soon as I get done scrolling.
So can I chime in here?
You can jump in whatever you want.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to just recommend that we push this for a meeting. Although, yes, under traditional view of Robert's Rules of Order, as long as you have quorum, a majority of the current members can. However, normally our commission and our charter sets out, it doesn't specify for this committee, but when the commission meets, a majority of members still have to approve things. And I think it would be probably better if there were able to be three voting members on this.
Trying to get to the grant here. And she submitted a lot of paperwork.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Yes, she did.
May I ask a question of the request to have three for this one and for this one specifically? I'm just trying to gain an understanding of the thoughts behind the recommendation.
Oh, so it's not this one specifically. It would be any of them, but since sounds like one of us needs to abstain, we really only have two members who can vote on this.
Okay, I see.
Okay, Brendan, you had indicated how you thought it should go. Can we just bring it up? Give us your opinion. I'm not sure how we're not going to be able to have a majority today.
I think Brendan's suggesting we table it and bring it back at the next meeting.
Okay.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So in that case, I think I would I don't need to vote or anything, you just put in the minutes that we tabled Dot Investments, Inc. Due to lack of quorum.
Very good.
Alan, do you need a motion for this?
No, I just tabled it, that's all.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay. The next one is Venue 643 LLC.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and that was a typo on the agenda. That was my fault. It's actually Venue 634 LLC, which was chosen because the address of this exciting project is 634 Columbus Avenue. The owner of the company is Catherine Korobkin. Ms. Korobkin is a local, she's also a business owner with the Sweet Potato Catering business, and she is looking to open this new modern and elegant event space at this location. It will accommodate 85 guests. She's proposing a extensive renovation of the building at a total cost of $226,000. She's working closely with our building department to ensure compliance with all regulations, and she hopes to have this project completed later this summer. This is a really exciting project in a historic building that folks may remember has a long history here in the city of Sandusky. I know that the business owner is excited about this venture, and I'm recommending that we provide $15,000.
Which building is the 634?
This is the former flower shop.
Oh, the old Russell Flower shop, okay. And better yet, as my wife would say, it was the chocolate shop.
And the chocolate shop, yes. I will mention that a grant at this level will require approval by the City of Sandusky City Commission. And if the committee goes ahead and approves this afternoon, we will present this at the next City Commission meeting, along with the outstanding request from Hot Dog Tony's.
Any questions on 634? So I'll get that right.
So this is looks like there's bank financing that's also needed as a part of this project as well. Am I reading this correctly?
Correct.
That's correct.
Well, I should add, the business owner indicated that she's currently exploring financing with the bank, but also may proceed with her own internal financing or equity in order to complete the project.
I guess just as a recommendation that the motion have something in it, the fact that either she has proof of her own equity or proof of bank financing before we would distribute anything.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Jonathan, this is Abby. Could you maybe speak, as I know, as a refresher, we have new faces and new year, new program, as to the distribution process for funds to begin with? Because I agree with the idea of ensuring that they have the financial resources available for the project, mostly so that our funds aren't encumbered with a project that won't move forward. But it might bring some comfort to the group to reiterate just sort of when our money goes out the door.
Sure, Abby, great point. In addition to making sure that folks have the financing and funding on the front end, we always disperse our funds at the time of the project completion. So we are checking to make sure that the total project has been completed and that our funding is really the last funding out the door. So it's an additional safeguard to make sure that the total project is getting done and that the borrower or the applicant has secured the balance of funding.
Thank you.
I would move that we recommend the $15,000 grant with the conditions listed in the agenda, including that they need private bank financing.
Actually, you're making a motion to send it, make the, have our recommendation to the city commission that we approve it. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page what we're saying. Okay.
Correct.
Yes.
So we approve this with the conditions of the bank financing, correct? I'm in agreement.
Actually,
Or I second
we
that
send it
motion.
to recommendation to be voted on by the city commission. Because we can't approve, we make our recommendation at this stage to the city commission, and then they vote on it.
Sorry, that's how I was trying to phrase my motion.
Okay. So we got a motion.
So question. I want to make sure I'm understanding. So all of these projects that we are going through, we're just making recommendations, or we're making a recommendation for this one because of the amount in which we're dealing with
I think
right now.
$10,000 is our threshold that the city commission has to vote on.
That's right. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was understanding.
Okay, we've got a motion. Did we ever get a second? Did I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Okay. As we'd indicated before, that will have to go before the city commission, the next city commission meeting, and the project for Market Street Collective LLC will have to go in front of the city commission on Monday for approval because of the dollar amount.
Hot Dog Tony's, are you referring to?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, at the last meeting, this committee recommended a grant to Hot Dog Tony's in the amount of $33,000, so that still has to go to City Commission. Then the next item on our agenda is just an update on Market Street Collective,
Okay.
which I'm happy to give.
Okay.
So,
So two, just for the record, two have to go to the city commission. Hot Dog Tony's and 643 or, yeah,
34.
34, okay. Straighten this out in a minute.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead and give us the Market Street Collective.
Yes, so Market Street Collective was approved, I believe, in 2019, and the committee members have been seeing this on our funding tracking sheet for quite some time and asked for an update. You may recall that Market Street Collective proposed the renovation of the former Cardinal grocery store on, it's actually, I don't believe it's on Market Street, it's on Washington Street. And the grant amount that was approved was $139,610. The initial completion date was at the end of 2020. The committee members may be aware that our policies allow the city manager to extend the completion dates at his discretion. And last September of 2020, the completion date was extended to December 31st, 2021, so the end of this year. I did contact the company and request an update. They do anticipate beginning that project the fall of this year, and they expect that the project will likely be completed in spring of next year. So I do anticipate that another extension will likely be needed. They've experienced some delays due to COVID-19, but are still committed to the project and excited about the project. I think that any input from the committee would definitely be appreciated as I work with the city manager to determine whether or not another extension is warranted.
I would make the recommendation, I mean, Eric's still the city manager, okay? That before he makes the next extension, he may want to, come to one of our meetings or give us some reason why he feels the second extension is necessary. So some kind of make us feel good that we're not just giving out extensions.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think it'll be really telling to see whether or not construction actually starts later this year. I think that's a major sign that we're going to be looking for. And
That would be a very good lesson.
so I think as the year progresses, we'll have more information and can certainly report back to the committee before making a determination as to, whether or not we're going to extend the completion date again.
Is there a specific extension that they're requesting?
They've not yet requested a specific extension, Brendan, but, I would imagine that as we get closer to that current deadline, they will make a formal request.
Okay, I was just curious.
Hey, Jonathan, you said the amount that we allocated for this project was 139,000, or what was that number? Could you
Correct, 139,000 and change.
Okay. And then also, just real quick, don't want to take too much time. So I grew up going to Cardinal's grocery store as a kid, so there's a lot of very fond memories. Now, so they're going to convert that into, it sound like it's going to be a grocery store or a farmer's market? Am I understanding that correctly?
I think so. My understanding of the model is that it is somewhat of a mix between a grocery store and a farmer's market where there'll be an operator, but also some independent vendors that'll be operating spaces within that building.
Somewhere around here,
Gotcha.
and I've been on the committee, I guess, long enough to remember that we had a complete mock-up and a visualization and plans that what they were going to do, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, we have those plans. It's an extensive project, extensive renovation that they were proposing.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we really don't have to take any action on that. I think it was just a recommendation to the city manager that before his second, that we'd like to see at least started or a very good reason for the extension.
Makes sense.
So that's the end of the agenda. Does anybody have any of the committee members have any specific items they want to bring up before I go to the public participation?
Yeah. So, Alan, I just wanted to make a comment. I really enjoy reviewing and kind of going through really my first applications, and it's really good to see a very diverse applicant pool. I mean, I think we're dealing with businesses with event spaces and restaurants. Correct. I know we didn't talk about that today, but it was good to kind of read through kind of their project as well. So,
Well, as we reminded you, we need your help.
I'm working on it. I'm working on my end. So,
Yes.
but no, I just wanted to make the comment that this was, I really enjoyed going through these set of applications.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamarcus.
Yes. So anybody else from the committee have any other questions, suggestions before I go to, we do have public comments. So if not, I'm going to move on to the public, first of all, the next meeting will be July 13th. And now, public comments. I know we have some from, I think, Mrs. Johnson, correct?
Yes. So Sharon Johnson has 3 questions and comments for us. The first one says, marketing funds are coming out of the development fund. Can the committee include the list of marketing expenditures and on what project the money was spent on? Number 2, Hot Dog Tony grant never came before the commissioners for approval. Why is that? Number
I think we
three.
answered that, it's coming next.
And number three is, why isn't the proper verification of costs being outlined by the business asking for the grant? Some businesses are submitting figures with no verification from vendors. This is especially true for signage and facade work. How can money be given away without verification of cost from vendors? I requested a vendor's estimate on a sign that was included in the project and no document exists. The city should not be giving away money without verification of costs.
Go for it.
I just wanted to give a little bit of response to the points there. The marketing funds, there have not been any expenditures this year from the account for marketing. Those are marketing expenses that will be related to general city marketing. So this is really more of an accounting matter than anything else in how a number of our different citywide activities are paid for out of this particular account. So really more of an internal note for us on the staff end to make sure that we're not dipping into another staff person's marketing budget. But just to be clear, to date, none of those funds have been expended from this account. Hot Dog Tony's, as we mentioned, will be going to City Commission at the next meeting. And then also, as we discussed, a lot of the verification is done on later on in the process before we disperse funds. So we diligently make sure that these projects are completed to the extent that they were initially approved before the city disperses its funding. So we do look for the expenditure of those funds, whether we're looking at the actual improvements, approval of building permits, occupancy permit, in some cases, receipts, and proof of payment. So we appreciate the residents' concern, and we're definitely attentive to that as well on our end throughout this process.
Is that the questions?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. If not, thanks everybody for attending. Like I said, Marcus, one of these times I'm gonna see you out here in the seat. I got one reserved for you right here.
I promise I'll be there on July 13th.
I'm just kidding with you. Okay,
No,
if nothing else, we stand adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Take care.
Bye. I signed the minutes.
Oh, perfect, thanks. Let me just make sure.
DeMarcus Hampton.
is now exiting.
Let me just make sure I log us out here.